The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. You landed here and it's no mistake. You best believe this could be your break. Rub-a-dub-dub, check out the hubs inside. A winning team is here to be your guide. Oh, my friend, you've been looking for a brand new day. I got good news, only a click away. You can click on any hub. You are sure to feel the love. Got some stories in my book, hope you'll take the time and look. The message in this simple read: teens, young adults, help them succeed. Scroll on down, got more to say. Go blogs, let's take it away. And if you choose not to do a thing that will ever cause me not to win, when you know your worth, no need to beg. Selling with no pressure is more fun. Instead, financial freedom has been calling you. Come join a hub, see what it will do. Come on and dance along with me. We go into the next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level. 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 Next level with Keith. The next level. The next level. The next level. Next level with Keith. And if you choose not to do a thing that will ever cause me not to win, when you know your worth, no need to beg. Sailing with no pressure is more fun. Instead, the next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith. The next level, the next level, the next level, next level with Keith.
Welcome to the Next Level with Keith, where clarity replaces confusion and simple systems lead to real freedom. Every episode begins with intention, music that centers your mind, lifts your spirit, and prepares you for transformation. This is your space for growth, your place to reset, your moment to rise. Rethinking your thinking, because when you shift your mind, you shift your money. Stack and grow, where small intentional steps turn into lasting wins. Simple strategies, real progress. Your circle, your currency, because your network matters. Mobile money moves, business, income, and empowerment from the device in your pocket. This isn't just talk, it's guidance, it's strategy, it's movement. Welcome to the Next Level with Keith. Let's begin.
Welcome again to the Next Level with Keith. And we're talking about what? Podcast episode 14. Oh, my. I'm loving this. It's like time is just moving so quickly. And I'm so happy to be back here again another Monday night. We're talking about having a good time. We're talking about having a enriched time, all right? A time where we're looking to grow and take things one step further. Now, I've been told over the years on several occasions that I'm a funny guy and I make people laugh at times. And I think as time progresses, you might be seeing more of the funny man inside of me come out. All right. Because sometimes when I look at things that I read and in my research, I have to just laugh sometimes. Like, this is amazing how folks can be. I think people in general are just, to me, very fascinating, you know, behavior, human behavior, right? Very fascinating. But tonight again, happy to be back here with you tonight on this episode 14. And I want to thank those of you on Podbean and YouTube and Amazon Music and wherever you are, wherever you find yourself and listening to this particular broadcast. I hope that you will walk away tonight with some nuggets, all right? Something that will make you say, you know what, it was worth my time being on this podcast. I mean, think about it, folks. There, there is a gazillion stuff online, right? There's so much things that you could be watching and looking at, and stuff that could grab your attention. So when I see me some years ago looking at one, two, three views, and now seeing 3,000, 2,000 views, I'm like, hey, God is good. Somebody somewhere is getting it. Somebody's listening. And for me, it means a lot, and I'm always grateful for every single thing. And with that, I want to ask you, the viewer, do me a little favor, all right? Sometimes folks get unsubscribed and don't even know it, all right? So if you're watching or whenever you get to watch this, just double check and make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? And those of you who are watching, please feel free to comment where you're from. Maybe I would say maybe the country in particular. You can just type that in. What country are you listening from? And give a like. All right. I like you. You like me. We like we. How about that, huh? So let's make it happen. Again, yes, happy to be here tonight. And tonight we're gonna look at this T word. There's a T word that I want to talk about tonight. All right. People always talk about it's the F word, you know? And when you say the F word, you kind of where people's minds go. But tonight I'm talking about the T word. So you might be wondering, okay, that's different. What word is that? Well, no need to worry. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna let you know why the T word is so important and why it can be our best friend and at the same time our worst enemy. All right. So tonight we're looking at freedom chasers. I'm asking the question, freedom chasers. Why ignore the T word? Come on, you're looking for the freedom, and talk a lot about financial freedom. All right. So I'm asking you, freedom chasers, why ignore the T word? And before I get into that, I want to go back to my last podcast because I started something on that podcast that I did not follow up on. And I want to expand on it some more and kind of show you a huge part of why I'm coming to you from this perspective or the perspective that I am as it relates to financial freedom and having freedom and being able to have options and choices, especially in this type of economy that we're living in. It's so volatile, so uncertain, and the things that we can do to kind of give ourselves a little more security, a little more assurity, insurance, in other words, right? And so last week on my podcast, I mentioned about a particular scripture. I also showed my Bible. Remember, I talked about my Bible last time, and I discovered something in that Bible that I didn't see before. And I've looked at the Bible for many years, and I've read many scriptures, but for some reason, this one did not hit me until last week. And it is from Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2. Let the church say amen. So this is from Ecclesiastes uh, chapter 11, verse 2. And it says, invest in seven ventures. Yes, in eight. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. That is serious. I'm gonna read it again because that got me there real good. It says, that's Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 2. Says, invest in seven ventures. Yes, in eight. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. And 11:6 says, sow your seed in the morning, and at the evening let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that or both. So, folks, a lot of times when we see folks having these webinars and some of these verbiage that they use, it came from the Bible, biblical principles. And a lot of folks, when they look at the Bible and they say they go back at the time when Christ walked the earth and so forth. A lot of folks, they spiritualize it so much that they miss the essence and the principles that he was trying to teach. And he taught some very solid principles. And a lot of folks miss those things, mystifying everything and spiritualizing everything, praying everything, and not getting down to practicality. There's a passage, I believe it's in Ecclesiastes as well, or Proverbs, where it says, go look at the ants. Go look at the ants and see how they do things. He was saying to you, ye lazy person or ye sluggard, go watch those ants and see how they operate, how they store up things for the winter. And I remember some years ago, I saw a show, an ant documentary. I was blown away to see how meticulous and how they worked harmoniously and how they, moved different things and how they shared the load and how some even sacrificed their lives to cross certain places for the good of the entire community. Powerful stuff. And how they prepare for the winter. And this show is telling you, or hopefully it's telling you to prepare for the winter because winter does come. Yes, so again, I am truly, truly happy to share with you, and I hope that you will just maybe get some notes, get a pen and paper, because you may want to take some notes tonight because I'll be going to some information that may serve you well long after this episode is finished. And of course, you can always go back, like I say, when you subscribe, you can go back and see my shows, my lives, and that kind of thing. So it's always there for you to enrich your own experience. So yes, and before we get into the meat of things, I want to kind of give you a brief introduction on what I discovered in a little research. So let me start with something that should stop you from even scrolling, from even moving from the screen. All right. Now, it searches for home-based income opportunities among adults 40 to 60 years old have surged over 60% in recent years. So I know that I'm not crazy. I know that what I'm saying here, it makes sense. And a lot of folks do resonate with it, but do they know how to move with it? They don't know what to do next. Some folks are, they feel crippled somehow. And hopefully, I will show you how to get unstuck from that sense of stagnation. All right. Hopefully, I can give you some bite sized things you can do to make that first step or the second step into your own freedom that you are so desiring for. And a lot of you folks, you know, you prayed, said, Lord, Lord, send something my way. Lord, I need an income. I need a raise. Lord, I need some. You've thought about it. Some of you have prayed on it. You have, asked others to pray for you and for doors to open. And I hope that when it's open, you can see the door. I hope you'll see it when it opens up. All right. And I don't stand it to be the only doorway or the only way. There are many, many, many ways, many, many different facets and roads to your freedom. But if you landed here, maybe, just maybe, the divine would have it be so for your own benefit. All right. Maybe, just maybe, you're here for a reason. While we connect, while we feel aligned, because I'm not standing here like a loner. I'm coming with the community, network, and all that stuff. All right. So that should be alarming to most of us. All right. So this is not noise I'm talking here. That's a signal. People are waking up. All right. And not just the young folks, the folks who are getting there. They're waking up. They want flexibility, period. I know I do. They want control. And if there's ever a time we feel as if we're losing control, it is now. We had what, this 2 days ago, No King's Day. People are marching all across this country because they feel that they're losing something, they're losing control. All right. They want options. But there's one word many still avoid. They want, but they keep avoiding this one word, and it is time. Time. They don't know how to spend the right amount of time to begin the journey to get to that goal. That's the thing that most people don't seem to have locked in. All right. The one asset you cannot earn back is time. The one currency is quietly spent every single day. And guess what happened in today's economy? With AI, with the layoffs, and the shifting job markets that they've been talking about and blowing the horn about, if we don't see the writing on the wall, I don't know when we will do. So with the shifting job markets, my friend, time is no longer neutral. We got to get aggressive, or some would say, get on the offensive. It's very, very serious. It's either working for you or against you. And before I go any further, I'm going to take some time right here, and I'm going to say and give a special moment for partners.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands. We position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message. and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership expands the reach.
Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries is a global church without walls. We're serving communities through live services, prayer intervention, and outreach that changes lives. Support our $500 monthly giving drive at WAMOE.org/give. Shop with purpose at faithmerchandise.com, featuring Dr. Faith's Miracle Lemonade. Book Dr. Faith for therapy, speaking, or ministry at drfaithreborn.com. Grow through professional connection and vocational training at theexcelproject.com. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter and follow us on socials at WAMO Ministries. Become a great motivator. Help us empower minds for success in the kingdom of God.
Yes, yes, yes. So let's look at something very important here, something very, very essential. And as we look into our thinking, how we think about things and how we kind of retrain ourselves or maybe undo some thinking, do some rethinking. And if I was to go back to the passage I read, the scripture I read in Ecclesiastes 11, verse 2, it talks about the 7 ways, 8 ways. A lot of us, we were taught from very young, to find a profession, and nothing is wrong with that. A lot of us went to the different areas, whether it's nursing, whether it's engineering, so whether it's a lawyer, different careers. And sometimes to be the best or to excel in that particular area, it does take time and years and focus. But if you notice, a lot of folks who were once, I would say, locked into that mindset are slowly changing their stance on that. Because many people, after going to school for X amount of years, spent X amount of money, time, find the right job, work for a certain amount of years, and to hear, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're fired. Oh, I'm sorry, we are moving our company to another state, and you can't go because of your family situation." You're like, "Wait a minute, are you serious?" All right. And a lot of folks had great jobs, great benefits, great packages. And so when they lost that, and in many cases lose it quickly, they didn't even have time to sustain out of it. It was abrupt. And they're like, "Wait a minute, I had this, but I don't have this." And I'm like 2, 3 paychecks away from being on the street. A lot of folks, that's when reality kicks in. And so a lot of things that people do when you hear folks say, "Well, get several income streams," that's a biblical thing. It's not some, you know, out of space thinking. That's real thinking, right? Real practical approach to being effective, having security, right? That we can impose, that we can initiate. All right. And that's why many people, if you notice, especially a lot of folks in the entertainment world, if you notice for the last number of years, most of these artists, they branch off into different areas. Some go into clothing lines, or someone go into cologne, perfumes. They may get into bags. Some go into restaurants. Some into real estate and all kind of things, along with endorsements. Right? They spread themselves in many ways. Nothing is wrong with that. So tonight, as we look at rethinking our thinking, what are we to do with that? Rethink your thinking. What are we to do with that? And so let's address some real issues here. Most people aren't failing because of lack of opportunity. All right. They're not failing because there isn't any opportunities out there. No, 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 no. They're failing because of how they interact with it. You see, this media, social media thing that we deal with it on a daily basis, I sometimes have to watch myself because there's several times I'm on one of the social media platforms and I'm scrolling. I'm like, it gives you that quick rush because it's so much different things happening that you get used to scrolling and you kind of develop that taste for wanting that quick fix. It almost become like a drug, because here you are now, want that endorphin release. So you look at these things and you're laughing and whatever it is, and you're just looking, looking, looking. So when something takes long or takes a little time for you to actually sit down, it's like it's almost next to impossible. You can't you can't tend to do it. All right. Some life-changing things. If you can sit for 10 minutes and watch a video presentation, your life would probably be changed. There's some webinars. If you go on one webinar that lasts for half an hour, maybe an hour, your life would literally be changed, transformed with the information you will get. Because I've been there and I've seen the effect of it. And I've seen others who, when they get to that point of saying, wait a minute, there's more to this than I thought. Because when you're busy scrolling, 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 you get used to that scrolling. It's like when something comes out there and it's long, it takes a little time to think and maybe to take some notes and maybe to do a little bit of research, a little bit of a checking, double checking. It feels like it's hard, heavy labor. And it's kind of sad. But it seems like the way the economy is actually going now and things are happening now, folks are folks seemingly are taking a little more accountability for their time, and they're being a little more aggressive and assertive in taking that time needed. And I hope that you, the viewer, you're one of those folks that you're taking the time to really, really make it happen. So you think about this. People click, they get excited, then disappear. That happens too often. But guess what happens? Success doesn't reward curiosity. All right. Think about it, folks. Think about it. Think about your days in school as a young person, and you had to do homework almost every day. I know I had to pretty much, all through high school, I was tired of homeworks. And then all my classes, I had to do homework. And then leaving high school into college, more assignments. If it's not one class, it's another class. And so with all that working and homework and presenting work and spending time, now here we are. We out of school. We have left it behind. All right, for some 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, some 40 years. And so the last thing sometimes we want to do is feel like we in some kind of learning seminar, school, classroom. We almost despise the moments. You know what I'm saying? Especially a lot of us who barely came through school. We barely got through. Someone said by the skin of our teeth, we barely made it. All right. And you're like, I'm done with that. All right. But the thing is that the time thing that I mentioned earlier, and the beautiful thing is that because of the way things are these days, and I think many people understand that the culture at large have a time problem. They have a time issue. So they do sometimes make programs or do things that they know will not, at least will maximize the time. So if they say 5 minutes, they make it really good 5 minutes, not waste and fluff and whatever, right? If it's 10 minutes, it's a really good 10 minutes. And a lot of times in my hubs, if you go there, when you go there, all right, you go to my hubs, you'll find that I'm really after hopefully getting you to rethink some things because that's kind of where it starts from, the thinking. I heard someone talked about um, thinking in the conscious realm and the subconscious realm, and the next level, which is a spiritual, you could say, is the area where there is no limit, right? Everything is possible. But a lot of times, what we see in the natural realm, conscious realm, is a reflection of what's happened in the subconscious realm, and sometimes we don't know it, right? How we think, how we feel, or we react to things, what we do, what we don't do, our fears. A lot of time, it's lodged up in the subconscious, and that's why some people may go to certain measures, or some may go to hypnosis, or they may go to some special meditative state or personnel or someone who can help them to bring out why am I getting the results I'm getting, because maybe the subconscious is really is where it is, and we don't get a hold of that so well. So a lot of what we do, it dictates a lot of what we do, and I'm pretty sure I'm not immune from that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure the things I've done that was affected that affected me from subconscious level, and I wasn't even aware of it. All right, but I'm learning that um, my action and also what I speak and think has to always be congruent. Try to come in alignment. Try to make it all connect. All right. So the one thing I do, I try to share what I've done and share some of the flaws and the mistakes and why I was affected, whether it was positive or whether it was negative. I've seen the power of acting quickly, and I've seen the power of waiting. I'll give an example. I play my horn. Those of you who have heard, said I play my saxophone. I call it my horn, right? It's a saxophone, really. And I'm on a platform, right, where I get bookings all the time. Now, when the booking comes in, it goes to maybe 5 to 7 different guys, get the same information. All right. So now they're bidding for the gig or for that event, but a lot has to do with what they do, how they respond, and how quickly they respond. So what I've done, I've actually made some pre-selected messages. All right. And I have several of those messages. So if someone reaches out to me for the first time, I have a message for that. If I get a message from someone and they have a question, I have a message for that. That's pre-selected because time is very important. All right. If I get a question that someone may want a price range, I have a um, something for that, a response for that. And so therefore, because I have those selected, when I get a particular lead come in, I don't have to type it on think and type too much. It's already been pre-selected in a way where it matches that particular question. All right. Stuff like that. Also, whenever I see a potential lead, I may call the person, email, and text. Sometimes they can't get the phone call, they may get the text. They could be in a meeting, but they get the text, and they may call me back afterwards or respond afterwards. And so I find that my booking gigs increased by me making those small adjustments. In the past, I used to what? wait sometimes when someone would call me with a gig information, for example. And so the gig comes in, but I don't save the person's number in my phone, but the gig is there or text is there. And so I'll get all the information that I need from the client, but then save the number or put that information where I can find it at a later time. And I've had dates in the past where I double booked events. I forgot where the information was, all right, because I didn't respond right there and then, put the time to make it happen. So now I change all that. So a gig comes in, I have a place where I copy that information and put it there, put the date, and if it's even limited information, but I know where it's going, I have an idea. All right. And so since then, no double booking going on. I'm not clashing. I'm not confused or, you know, feel overwhelmed like that because I put a system in place like that. Right. Straightforward, basic. Most of it is copy and paste, copy and paste. But the key to that, all that is time. Is time that it saves me and the time that I put into putting the system in place is now working for me in the back end. All right. So that's why I encourage you to look at time as a very, or probably, I would say, probably one of the most valuable assets that we have, or commodity that we have, is time. And too often, many people blow it. They blow time. All right. So there are two things that the people do that really, really kind of are two things that they should consider when it comes to time. And it's I talked about it, believe in the clicking economy, clicking away, folks clicking all day long, not getting anywhere. I talked about courses, sites, hustles, platforms. Um, People click, they get excited, they disappear. I talked about that. We talked about success is not rewarded by you just being curious, right? Or inquiring. It requires something more, all right, about commitment and consistency. Now, for number two, looking at what? Expecting results without time investment. So a lot of folks, they're looking for what? They're looking for results, but there's no time invested. So guess what? Here's the truth that a lot of people don't want to say. All right. And we just got to sometimes call it for what it is. All right. That's how we move on and that's how we grow. Right. We got to call it out for what it is. If you quit in 2 weeks, you don't fail the opportunity, you fail the process. So most of us have a hard time going through the process. And what's funny about it is that sometimes the process is really simple and sometimes much shorter than you think. The one thing I try to do with a lot of things that I've done, even on this podcast, is to make things real bite sized, right? And not too time consuming. Because, and I hope for you it's not, because again, it's my perspective, but I know what my life looks like when I'm busy, right? And I don't want it to be overwhelming and I'm just like, can't get anything done because I'm so busy. But things I've done and I want to do now, I want to show now is that there's systems out there that are really not time consuming. It just takes the time for you to get to see what it is, know what it is, and say, wow, and be surprised. All right. Because a lot of us who are 40s, 50s, 60s, and some are 70s, we don't have a lot of time, and that's a fact. We just don't have a lot of time. And we don't want to spend too much time on anything. Yes, time is important, right? And you must give things time. But we don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of time on anything. All right. And that's why you have some of these In the music world, a lot of teachers say, well, when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, it's not about learning all these notes and these or to read music. It's like that would take years, and you're bored, and before you know it, you may quit. They teach you songs from almost day one. Play a song, and that inspires you. It feels like, man, I played a song. You know, though simple, but it does something about that experience. Opposed to going through that whole regimen and the whole trying to learn. No, sometimes it's like, wait a minute, my brain's gonna burst here, right? So they teach you something that you're familiar with, that you like, that you know, and you feel like you've progressed. You have success quickly, and that builds momentum. All right. So what I'm really saying here is that it will take a little time. All right. But I'll tell you one thing: if you look back 3, 4 years ago and see what you've done with time, and probably see why you're not further away, is because of how you use time. Of how you use time. Look about 2, 3 years from now. I mean, 3 years ago, because a lot of times it's hard to see ahead if you don't look behind and see what have I done? What were the contributing factor or factors to why I'm here? And I'm like, wow, it's really it can be a sobering thought. It makes you think. And I fall in the category. I don't stand here as someone who has got it all together. All right. That's not the point. I just know that I don't quit. I'm not a quitter. I keep going. And I find that time is for me is one of the most important things. I have a TV in my room and it's not even plugged up. I hardly watch TV, right? I'm always mainly in research and looking at things that I believe can probably give me some kind of enhancement in what I'm doing and so forth. And again, I'm big on just what? Showing people things that I believe will give them that option, that time freedom that so many of us are looking for. And before going further, now it's not a moments for a partner that I wanted to present to you.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, this is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands. We position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door.
Gospel Foundation International Healing Ministries is a Bible-based ministry. Through worship, prayer, and deliverance, we help individuals find restoration. We equip believers to build stronger families and healthier communities. Footprints of Faith Radio shares real stories of healing and hope. Bible Talk for Children helps kids develop strong moral foundations. Apply for sponsored digital advancement support for growing your reach. Your support makes this possible. We're aiming for a $500 monthly goal. Support, partner, or give today at gfihministries.org/give.
It's a place that's real.
All right, all right, all right. We are stacking it up and we are growing it up. So, guys, when you think about stack and grow, yeah, it's big.
The next level, the next level, the next level with Keith.
All right, all right, all right. Let's talk about this silent thief. Oh, yeah, it's a thief, all right. A thief steals your future. This thing called scrolling, man, I'm guilty of scrolling. I tell you, but I'm learning. I'm learning. Excuse me. A little congestion here, trying to gate off so I can be clear, come across clear on the airwaves here. So yeah, so we're looking at this thief that we call scrolling. And are you guilty of that? Are you guilty of that? Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling for hours, and we wonder where did time go? So here's some sobering information that I think should get you thinking. The average person spends 2 to 4 hours per day on short form content. You know what they are, all right? That's 700 plus hours per year, nearly a full month of waking life. But here's what's dangerous. Check this out. You're not just wasting time, you're stacking what? Distraction. See, stacking never really stops. Stacking is an ongoing thing. But here's the question: what exactly are you stacking? Is it for your freedom or for your bondage? Is it for options or no options? All right. Stacking is always taking place. And that's serious. And this is evidence based. It's not just me just spewing off words into the air. No, 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 no. All right. Research from Nielsen and Data Reportal shows that passive content consumption does these things. It reduces retention, lowers execution rates, creates false productivity loops. All right. So if you're always looking for short, 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 like I was saying earlier, when a little longer comes, you're not able to withstand that kind of thing. And I go back to something I said, I think in one or two podcasts ago, where maybe three, where I talked about doing one of my coaching, um, I would say advice or direction was to do an hour long video. You remember all before this time, I've been doing 5 minute, 10 minute, the most maybe 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm used to that kind of, ongoing routine. When I was told to do an hour video, man, it was for me, it seemed like it was a real big task. When I did it, it was like a breakthrough. All right. And when I did that 1 hour, 25 minutes seems easier. Half an hour seemed easier. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, she first said do a 30-minute first, a 30-minute, which was a stretch. And then that took me to 1 hour. And I felt like I was really stretching. I was sweating, but I did it. So, yes, so this scrolling thing, short thing, and passive scrolling, we develop this short attention span. We can hardly take anything that's longer and substantive. We tend to kind of give in, fall asleep, then finish watching it. And it's not because you really were that busy sometimes. Your stamina wasn't developed to even get through that process of watching a 15, 20-minute presentation, something that could change your trajectory. All right. So hopefully we can get some rethinking here, some redoing here, and make it happen. All right. What you're actually stacking, ideas you never really what? Apply. So all this stuff you put inside of you, what's it doing for you in the long run? How is it really building you and preparing you and protecting you and ensuring your financial future? How is it doing that? Motivating or motivation that expires in minutes. It sounds good, get motivated, and it dies. Information without structure, right? Sounds good. It is information, but what's the basis of it? Where's it taking it? What's the network behind it? What's the formula or the format that you can get from it to actually build on it? Again, these are things that is in our culture distracting so many of us. All right. So there's something that we can do, all right, to at least buff it. Something we can do to at least help to get out of this things because it's one to talk about it, right? But you also want to give some solutions, some ways, some thoughts, and how we can implement, all right, and make it happen. So look at like a hidden hack, all right? I'm like you're gonna hack something. So there are ways around it here, all right? So look at for every 30 minutes you consume, you must what apply something within 24 hours. If not, it becomes digital clutter in your brain. So imagine for every 30 minutes you consume, you must apply something within 24 hours. If not, it becomes digital clutter in your brain. That is really crazy when you think about that. All right. That's really crazy. And so you think about why are we in this setting? Why are we in this cycle? Could it be the circle that you're in? Could it be the circle could it be the ones you're around, the ones you talk to on a daily basis or weekly basis? Your peer, could it be that part that could it be that thing a major part of why you're where you are? I'll talk about your circle, your currency, and it's pivotal to where you're gonna go or how you're gonna grow. All right. So let's get uncomfortable for a minute. Is that okay? Let us get uncomfortable for a minute. And I'm willing to go there myself because my work never stops. I'm still working on my stuff. All right. I still got work to do. So when I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. All right. And I'm getting better, thank God. I'm not I refuse to stay stagnant. I refuse to do that. So I want to grow. All right. So we think about your circle. Um, the average American nearing retirement has less than 100,000 saved, right? And it is said to be more closer to 50,000 saved after 20, 30, 40 years of work. That is serious. Now, ask yourself this question, right? Ask yourself this question. What are people around you normalizing? Are they normalizing strong effort? Are they normalizing you taking initiative? Are they normalizing things that you know you should put time in and they say, no, it's not that serious? Don't waste your time, whatever. Are they doing things that are just making it feel good, constantly instant gratification and nothing futuristic, nothing that's going to be grounding for something bigger, for more self-control, for more temperance? Are they more into the next thing? All right, the next gossip, the next big news, the next whatever tabloid. Is that what they're about? Because there are many folks like that. They have a lot to say about a lot of things, and they're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And think about it. One thing I've learned: if you're not going anywhere, who are you hanging around with? And you may see why you're probably not going anywhere. Because are they going anywhere? All right. And then what's even crazier, there are folks who will actually be going somewhere and keep you back while they're going somewhere. They'll waste your time. And then in their moments, they spend a lot of time doing stuff that never tell you. And you're stuck thinking that you're on the same page with these people, the same lane, and they're in a whole different lane, and you're getting stuck trying to, I guess, just have your circle feel good and have that space feels like, hey, all is well. You just interacting and socializing, and you stop there. So look at this. Harvard research shows this. Your income tends to mirror your closest circle over time. So it's not that you can't be with somebody who maybe someone who have less financially than you, because they may be growing too. And it doesn't mean that you can't be friend with somebody or close to somebody who's doing well, but you got to say to yourself, if they're doing well, how can I get there too? Right? Rather than staying where you are, how can I get there too? What can I learn from this person? What can I glean from this person? What can I take? What habits can I develop that's going to be different from the ones I've been practicing for the last number of years? Because this person who's doing better may have some tools to give you to allow you to be better. All right, that's one way of looking at it as well. All right. So if your circle is this, is your circle surviving? And that's all they're doing? Are you normalizing survival? Are they complaining? Because when it's complain, you normalize limitation. If you're surviving, you normalize survival. If they're complaining, you normalize limitation. If they're avoiding risk, you avoid opportunity. There is nothing in life you can do that doesn't require some sense of risk. All right? Risk is a part of life. And some people try to do too much compartmentalizing when it comes to risk. All right? You can drive in a car and you don't know the driver of the car, but you trust the car to take you where it's going. That's a risk. But you will have a hard time listening to a 10-minute presentation on something that could change your life because you think it's a risk and you avoid that. Folks can be interested. So the point is that secret move most don't know. It's some secret moves most don't know. You don't need to leave your circle. That's not the point, right? Disregard those people. It's not necessarily the key all the time. You need to upgrade your exposure because who knows? Maybe those same folks that you knew before, you can help them get out of that situation by you being enlightened and you growing. All right. And I think that's very important to really bring out. All right. You need new conversations. Very important. You need new environments and new inputs. Those are some key things. All right. Because wherever you move to, whatever you move to in proximity, right, it does create new possibilities. And I find that's my experience over the last number of years. Wherever I move to, it increases my possibility. So, there's a section that I really always talk about, I like a lot. And before I go there, I want to also give a moment for partners again at this point because I think it's just cool.
This moment is for builders, visionaries, and brands with purpose. If you want access, alignment, and momentum, not just motivation, this is your step forward. Join the next level with Keith channel members. Whether you're a freedom chaser, freedom supporter, next level insider, or next level builder, This is where growth gets structure and community becomes currency. And for partners with a mission, we don't just promote brands, we position purpose. Bring your cause, your company, your message, and let's amplify it with intention and impact. Membership opens the door. Partnership.
Strong organizations are built on more than strategy, they're built on people. At Human Impact Development Consulting, we help organizations strengthen leadership and support staff well-being. We put clear people systems in place that actually work. From HR advisory and policy development to leadership support, we cover it all. Our approach is practical, ethical, and people-centered. If ready for clarity, confidence, and sustainable impact, visit sandrinedunkley.com. Human Impact Development Consulting, where people systems meet performance.
Yes, I hope you get it what I'm putting down here because I'm telling you, I'm feeling this right here. Even though I'm doing it, I'm like, wait a minute, there's some really cool stuff here. It's like I read it before, but looking at it again and just talking about it, I'm like, wow, this is some really heavy stuff. And I hope that you really really getting some nuggets from these interesting information here. So, one of the most mobile equipment we have in our hands. I think we all know what that is. The cell phone or the phone, right? One of the most one of the most mobile devices we have in this world. But there's some reality check that we have to look at. Most people what? Use their phone to what? To watch, scroll, spend, right? Instead of build, learn, and earn. Oh, some folks they shop all day, shop until they drop all day, every day. They scroll all day, every day. They spend all day, every day. But are they building? Are they learning? Are they earning? So, looking at a Pew Research that took place, it is said that over 85% of adults own smartphones, but less than 20% actively use them for income generation. I'm going to say it again. According to Pew Research, over 85% of adults own smartphones, but less than 20% actively use them for income generation. All right. So turn your phone into a 3-minute function machine. Why not? Learn skill. There are many skills and and there are many opportunities. And one of the ways, like I said, visit those hubs, check them out, and see what you find. You can build content. I started with my phone making YouTube videos years ago, and they weren't great. They weren't really, they weren't under professional touch. But by me starting that, I developed confidence, right? I developed, just speaking more and feeling more secure in my presentation. And I'm still growing. I got ways to go. I'm not there yet, right? But it was very essential to my development. Right? It was key to me to getting beyond myself, right? Stepping out there and taking risk and sometimes get criticized and that kind of thing. It's a part of it. But it was very, very, very important for my development and I appreciate it. I don't disregard it. I don't despise it. I'm grateful because we all have to start from somewhere. All right. And that's what I'm really pushing here. We've got to make that start. All right. Um, by building content eventually, um, monetization come into place. You can get it monetized over time. You never know. That's another factor that many folks who started are now getting paid for what they have fun doing. Some people like to talk or sing or draw or do something creative and they enjoy doing it and by just branching out and just stepping out, they're now getting paid for it. It's a really cool thing. Um, Anything I would say outside of that, you can limit it. You have people doing subscriptions on impulse. You know, they're buying things sort of impulsively. Not because they're really calculating certain things. They're caught in this kind of feel good, almost like self gratification kind of thing. It's like a vicious cycle. Mm. But the reason why, because they're replacing those things with real investment behavior, real empowerment behavior. And so it is now, I would say, it gets pulled away with all these other things that really doesn't give you that what you need, and that's why I always talk about one taking action. I talk about making that move. All right. We talk about the time we're living in. We talk about this next 2 years and how things are changing. We see how the AI world is moving things rapidly, and many companies are downsizing, and many companies are not trying to hire new people, and many companies are trying to cut away their benefits, some of their French benefits that they have, right? And if we now don't see the handwriting on the wall and make our moves, we're gonna be caught, wondering what happened. And we don't want to necessarily be in that position. I'm sure you don't. So take action, man. It's just a key thing. So you don't need necessarily an overhaul of your entire life like that. You know, it's not a life overhaul where you got to like, oh my God, just go into chaos mode. You need structure, right? You need to be structured. You need intentionality. All right, it's important. Look at this. Look at this 60-minute power block, right? Look at this. How this can probably help you. Take 1 hour per day, non-negotiable, right? Let's decide that this is what I need to do. I'm gonna change some things. I'm gonna be deliberate. Take 1 hour per day, non-negotiable. Learn something, build something, execute. All right, and you can try something small within reach, and then you expound on that. Two, you can replace some things. Don't remove, but replace. Don't remove, just replace. So don't eliminate habits, just replace them. So you always scroll, but what are you going to scroll on now? Right? So think about this. Say 2 hours scrolling, 1 hour learning, and 1 hour building. So you don't necessarily stop scrolling. But how can I scroll less and divide that 1 or 2 hours of scrolling into where I can still scroll, but let me block out this time for this, or let me block out this time for that. All right, you still don't feel like as if you're giving away your life and you're giving away some of your comforts, right? But you're maximizing time. All right. So look at this. Look at this. What do you really want to do as far as income addition, right? You want to put some additional income in your life. What are you thinking about? What comes to your mind when you think about additional income? You probably heard it in several different ways and places. And when you think of income, what comes to your mind? Is it like you thinking, I can bake cakes, or maybe you can do taxes, or you say, you know what, I can I can knit, I can sew some things and sell online? Are you thinking more like tactile, hands-on things, or are you more like into computers maybe? Maybe somebody like to write, do something more like data processing, all right, or word entry, or data entry. Are you thinking more like online business, like a maybe something like a um, affiliate program, maybe? All right, direct sales, maybe. What goes to your mind? I think that when you think of those things, you may want to meet with someone and talk about it. All right, think about. I talk about coach a lot, and even having a free consultation. All right, even a free consultation to share. You can find it here. All right, just to kind of see where things are with you. An evaluation, just kind of get something going, something to get the fire going. And from there, you can say, you know what? Okay, okay, I see a direction I can go. Because what I mostly like is things that are more passive. All right. So if I move from here to here to here, I don't worry about physical things too much. All right. And that's why the phone and having the mobility of it is so powerful. You can travel anywhere, day or night, and you can still be effective depending on what that thing is. And so most of what I do is their digital stuff. All right. They're not so much physical, or they're both. All right. So I'm not sure what you are into, what you like, what appeals to you, what moves you. All right. But you think about some things and how you can now begin that journey of self-discovery and maximizing time. So there's an activity here that I want to present to you, right? I think it's a cool activity here you may like. And the time reset challenge is what it is. All right. It's activity and it's called the time reset challenge. So I want to issue a challenge to you, okay? Because sometimes for us to break out of the mode that we're in, we got to challenge ourselves. All right. Speak to our minds, speak to ourselves, challenge ourselves, and make it happen. All right. So freedom chasers, here's your 5 day time audit. All right. Are you writing this down? Are you really taking this notes down? I hope you are. All right. For the next 5 days, do this. One, track how you spend your time. Right. I want to track that for the entire day. Let's track how you spend your time. Two, identify 1 hour daily to reclaim. All right. So you see something that kind of off. You say, listen, I can reclaim that because that didn't serve me the way it should or could. I can use that better. Or let me not misuse that. All right. Three, replace consumption with creation. All right. Something specific that you're going to create. All right. Now, when we talk about creation, it's not like you're going to become someone who is an expert overnight. All right. Or you're going to do something that you don't know how to do it. All right. Creation could be as simple as I'm going to give myself something I've never done before. Or maybe I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to really watch something from start to finish and maybe write some things, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what appeals to me, what don't appeal to me. That's you using your own creativity. All right. Stuff like that. Um, Four, apply one thing you learn daily. One thing. All right. That's fair enough. And number five, review your progress at the end. So one again is track how you spend your time. Two, identify 1 hour daily to reclaim. Three, replace consumption with creation. Four, apply one thing you learn daily. And five, review your progress at the end. And I think that's pretty comprehensive. I think that's a good approach one can take, all right, to start that process. But it will take some work. Uh, this word easy or hard, I'm trying to make this word become prominent in my vocabulary. But the thing is that some things that may not come to us as smoothly, or it may cause some rubbing or some extra discipline or extra effort. It's usually worth it. All right. It usually worth that thing. I remember years ago, I was working with a personal trainer, and the first day I worked out with that personal trainer, the next day I was so sore I could hardly walk because I got my muscle worked in a way that wasn't worked like that for probably ever. But was it worth it? Yes. The second, third, fourth day, maybe I was a little sore. But after the first week, man, I was good to go. All right. So sometimes even mentally, you may feel that way, just like how we feel that way physically sometimes. Mentally, it still feels like it feels heavy. It feels like it's almost weighty. Like, man, can I go through this process here? All right. But it is very important that we do all these things. So looking back at, this thing we call time, right? I'm just hoping that as you've heard me and you've gleaned from this podcast, you know that time is one of the key factor and probably your biggest stumbling block. And hopefully from tonight it won't be anymore. It'll be something different, but not time because time is too precious. Many people say they'd rather you take their money than take their time. They'd rather take their money than take their time. You can't get it back. And so, coming on to my final thought, the next 3 years will not look like the last 10. It won't. And we can see right in front of our eyes how much it's changing. AI is reshaping industries, jobs, and it's scary for a lot of people. All right. AI is rehashing industries, jobs, and jobs are shifting. Opportunities are what? Are moving, and they're moving very, very, very fast. This isn't fear, it's reality. The question is, will you adapt before you're forced to? A lot of us, we will do it, but when we do it, it will feel forced and we probably won't even enjoy it. You see, because time is now, the dividing line between stability and struggle. There's a freedom and dependence. There's preparation and regret. I'm gonna say it again. There's a defining line between stability and struggle, between freedom and dependence, between preparation and regret. You pick your choice. 3 years from now, you will either say, I wish I started, or I'm glad I did. Which one are you choosing to pick? Now, I say it again, you check out those hubs. There's some good things in there that you want to look at and see how the next 2 years from now, your life could be totally revolutionized, totally on a different trajectory. All right. Because someone went ahead and searched hard and wide, made the necessary research, do the necessary research, check things out, walk the journey, and say, hey, check it out and see if you won't be smiling like I'm smiling. Again, I thank you. And I've always said, my source is not YouTube, it's not the podcast, it's not a job, it's not likes, it's not comments or subscribers. Even though God knows I'm grateful for each and every one of you, but when you know that you found, you find a thing that moves you, and you can say it with conviction, you can say it with purpose. It's not about the money. Money will come. Money's not going anywhere. All right. It's been about connecting with your family, connecting with people, bringing about an awareness, and someone's gonna get it. Somebody is gonna say, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna take that step. And I'm grateful for my producers. Oh my God, I can't say enough words about them. My engineer, my coaches, those who work with me, those who are called it silent supporters. God bless you. You mean the world. And I'm looking forward to another great segment coming up. Next week, I'm working on having a guest next week. Look out for that. And it should be fun. And we're going to keep talking about this thing, getting our mind reshaped, rethink our thoughts, rethink our thinking, and we're going to be blinking like stars. Anyway, thank you. God bless. And I see you on podcast 15. God bless.
If today's episode spoke to you, it's because you're ready. Ready for your money to work for you. Ready for practical steps, not just motivation. Ready for faith-led financial freedom. Ready to build stability, peace, and confidence for your family. You're not alone on this journey. The Next Level isn't just a podcast. It's a movement toward freedom, one episode at a time. Stay connected. Listen anytime at podcast.keithmerritt.com. Explore the Next Level Movement Hub. Subscribe on YouTube at Keith Merritt. Like, share, comment. Your engagement helps this message reach more families. Take your next step. Visit keithmerritt.com/impact/the next level. Subscribe for the latest blog from the Freedom Resource Hub and join the Next Level Resource Network. Choose the hub that fits your journey: music and speaking, family protection, digital learning, passive income, or Keith's book and reading hub. Press play. Take action. Your next level is calling.